Okay, Shooter McGavin, let's talk about organizational leadership on the soccer pitch. Much of these concepts you are about to hear are common in organizations. However, we will apply them to the soccer pitch. Let's start with the trifecta of leadership, which covers the why, the what, and the how. Let's begin with the why. Why do we do what we do as a team? Why do we play soccer? In soccer, the main objective should be to score one more goal than the other team. That's how you win. That's the objective. So, if this is the ball, the primary objective should be to get the ball directly into the goal. That's how you score. Other teams may have a different philosophy. For example, this team, they're playing the possession game. They're going pass, pass, pass. Passing is not bad. However, passing does not score a goal. That poses a big question. Why are you playing the possession game? Or why are you playing the long ball? Or why are you playing the through ball? Lots of tactics. Regardless, primary objective should be to execute why we are playing this game, which is to score a goal. The second step is to identify what we need to do in order to achieve our goal. This is the easiest of the goals because all we need to do is identify the phases of play, the pros and cons that our team brings together, and the facts of the game. This second step within the what is the easiest of all the steps. Why? Because we already have the four phases of play. We know that there is defense. We know that there is midfield. We know that there is a creative zone. We know that there is attacking zone. That will lead us into our next step in identifying how we will achieve these things. How will we play defense? How will we play midfield? How will we play in the creative zone? And so forth. In identifying what we need to do in order to achieve our goal, we also need to identify our strengths and weaknesses. For example, one of our players is probably the fastest player in all of Pisa. So, why would we not use him to capitalize on this strength? However, say we face a team that has a strong defense, especially on the wing. Now, this poses a challenge. On that game, he may not be an asset to our team. The same is true if you were to put, say, myself, Coach Ron, up front for the very purpose of shooting. Why? Because I am not the best shooter. I would be a weakness in a weak spot. So, we need to pose lots of questions. What are we doing in order to achieve our goal? But be mindful, there is no wrong in what we do to execute this. There is only a problem when there is no communication and we're all on different pages. And we have the facts. This is simply identifying that there are limitations to the game, such as speed and height, and there are rules that we cannot violate because it concedes the ball. For example, if we are all 4 feet and we're trying to lob the ball for a header, that would just be a dumb tactic. This third step in the process is the most important as we identify how we're going to execute the 4 phases of play. In this step, we're going to look at how we're going to execute the tactics and the plays of the field. This is where we identify step by step how we're going to do what we said we're going to do in order to achieve our goals. How is the most important step of the 3 because why does not change and the what does not change. However, the how, that changes per game, per half, per quarter, based on our strengths and weaknesses or based on the opponent's strengths and weaknesses. The how should always be dictated by the leader. Often, Don does this through our 101 bits before each match. For example, in a very realistic scenario, we are identifying how we're going to transition the ball from defense to the midfield by using the U shape. Our wingers don't just move forward while the center backs stay back. We all move forward together so that we transition from the next phase to the next phase, looking for the midfielder. When the winger gets to a certain point, he has options. He could go left, or he could go right, or he could pass to midfield and look for a 1-2 pass. These are all options. None of them are wrong. These are all options to execute our phases of play. This how component is very important because it requires communication, 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 because every scenario of the game needs communication, including the need for support players in certain situations, or the secondary wave of support players. We have to communicate. We are not done. There's more. Let's review. We have the why, the what, and the how. The trifecta. Each three are connected by attributes. 3 attributes let's talk about. The first attribute is communication. The second is competency. And the third is chemistry. But let's just talk about one. Communication. In the heat of action, a mission, a task at hand, a project, or a game, there are 2 very, very basic forms of communication. The first is correction, the correction of wrongs or the correction of actions. And this is the worst of the 2 types of communication. In the human resourcing world, corrective action is always done after the dust has settled. Why? Because during the task at hand, the brain can only process so much information. Therefore, it does not help to yell a corrective form of communication in the middle of a shot, or in the middle of a pass, or in the middle of a header. Wait until a pause, wait until a transition, wait until a clearance, wait until a timeout, wait until the halftime, wait until after the game to discuss corrective action, not during the play. In the second form of communication, we are communicating information. We are communicating how we are going to support our teammates on the field, whether we are square, whether we are negative, whether we are advancing to space, whether we are on the opposite side of the field. How are we supporting our teammates? Additionally, we are communicating options. Options as to what could happen next, such as near post, far post, someone's at the 18, someone's directly behind you, the keeper is available, someone is right on you, man on, or turn. All options that help the team. So, communication, communication, communication. And I want to encourage each of you that soccer is a game full of mistakes. If you make technical mistakes, get over it. It will happen and it will continue to happen. If we make tactical mistakes, it's okay. Now we have a reference to what our primary objectives are and what the trifecta of organizational leadership is on the soccer field. Recalibrate and move forward. We are a team. Let's get it done.